Hey everyone, I am Bianca. Today I'm going to show you some Dollar Tree DIY inspired pieces. I hope you enjoy and let's get started.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight.
Alright, so for the first DIY, I am using these two Dollar Tree signs. We're going to make the lantern that you saw at the beginning of the video. And I really wanted to use these because it has that really pretty wooden edge, or the frame of the picture is just really pretty. So I thought it would be perfect to make the lantern out of. So I already removed part of the little sign in the center. It just says feels good to be home. I'm going to save that for a different DIY. And I need to remove both of them. That way I can have a flat surface to paint. So with that little wooden, or it's not wooden, it's like a cardboard piece to hold up the sign to make it look more 3D. I'm just using my scissors to kind of help me take that off. And you see how it's kind of ripped? I'm going to go ahead and sand that down just a little bit to make it more flat. And then I will be painting both of the centers of this sign black. And I'm just going to use my matte black from Apple Barrel and paint the centers like I mentioned. What I like to do is just start off kind of on the edges, not putting too much paint, and then I will fill in the center. Now I'm going to grab my Dollar Tree wooden dowels, and I think I take out about 6 of them to paint them black, but I only used 4 because I was going to use the other 2, since I took out 6, for something in a little bit that I'll tell you about, and I ended up changing that to something else. So I'm going to use 4 like this. I'm going to cut them down after I paint them, but I wasn't too sure how tall or short I wanted the lantern yet until I actually painted them and stuck them on the side like you just saw, and then I realized, okay, it needs to be a little bit shorter, so I will cut them down a little. So it's not glued down yet. I just have it standing there to kind of see if that was how high I wanted it, and it was. So then I used that one as a template to cut the rest of them. I'm going to add a good amount of glue to the corners of the frame on the inside right here, and I'm going to show you. And then once I do, I will stick the dowel right there and just hold it in place for a few seconds so it gets nice and glued very well. I have all 4 dowels on there, so now I'm going to grab the other one and I'm going to add hot glue in those 4 corners and then add it like this, very carefully not to break off any of the dowels. Then I grabbed my level and put it at the top just to make sure it was as straight as possible. Now I'm going to turn it back around the way I had it, and then at the top part, you know, you don't want to see the cardboard piece at the top. So I'm going to remove that piece of hardware right there, sand it down a little, and paint that black on top as well. Okay, for this next part, I decided to use my Dollar Tree craft sticks instead of the dowels like I had mentioned earlier. I was going to use those 2 extra dowels for this next part, but I decided to use the craft sticks and it did come out way better than I expected, so that's good. So I'm taking 8 craft sticks. I'm going to cut the round ends off first and then I will paint them black too. Another thing I forgot to mention was that I love using Dollar Tree craft sticks because they cut so easily like paper. I love using them. They're just way easier to cut. The lantern looks really pretty already, but I'm going to add a little bit of detail and I'm going to show you that in a second. So I'm going to lay it down and I will glue the craft sticks onto the sides. I'm going to go about 1 inch from the frame. So that's just going to help me make sure that it's all pretty straight. And I completely forgot to mention where I got the inspiration from. So I saw this on Kirkland's and I thought I could make something similar, and that is how I got the inspiration to do these craft sticks on the sides. And I think that just makes the look even more modern and high-end. So I'm going to glue these and then that will be it for this DIY. So what I have inside the lantern is a Dollar Tree jar. I just removed the lid, added one of those little battery operated candles, and then I have it inside of a Hobby Lobby tray. I have an IKEA vase with some Walmart greenery, and then the tiny little container. I made that in a DIY. This next inspired DIY is very easy, a little bit tedious, but it was actually really fun to make. So I just have a Dollar Tree picture frame with this really pretty saying. It just says, "Family is a gift that lasts forever." So this one is another Kirkland's inspired DIY. I saw a really pretty frame on there and I thought it'd be kind of easy to make. So I decided to come up with my own little way to get that look. And if you guessed I was going to use craft sticks, I totally did. So as you can see, I cut off the ends of my craft sticks because I do that anyways for a lot of my DIYs. So I thought it would be perfect and easy since the craft sticks, well, the Dollar Tree craft sticks are easy to cut through. It was pretty easy to do. I just figured out about how much of the end part I wanted, and then I used that one as a template and cut all of them out. Now I didn't count them because that was just something I forgot. But once I cut them, I kind of start setting them in the corners, or not in the corners, but in the edges of the frame. And then that was how I figured out how many I needed. And I think I still had some left over, but that's okay. So this would also be a good idea to do to any frame that you want to add detail to. Now I had to think of something to put underneath these, like the Kirkland's one, and you guessed it, I'm using more craft sticks. So this is perfect because I'm just going to take the ones that I already cut the ends off of, and I'm going to place them along the frame, and then I will just mark off the excess with my pencil, cut that off, and then we're going to paint them black. And I like to just take a little picture of how I have it before I take them off and paint them. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me. My washer is in the background, but yes, this is a perfect example of waiting to cut. You need to paint the ends first, or paint the whole craft stick first if you want, because this part is honestly not that hard to do. I mean, I'm just going like this to paint it, to keep it in place, and it does stay. If I just go on top like this, it drags, but if I push the paint, the tip of the paint stick down where it's flat like that, it stays in place. It doesn't really move. So sorry about that noise in the clip before this one. But I just remember I had to explain to y'all about that. So now what we're going to do is add the border, hot glue that down first. So I glued all of them down, and I don't know if you can see, but I did accidentally crack it. I was pushing a little bit too hard on the glass, so just be careful because, you know, it is Dollar Tree and it's not real heavy duty. So now I'm just going to place the ends of the craft sticks right here on the sides, and then we'll glue them down too. I have the bottom row glued down already, so this is how I do the sides, or this is how I apply the sides. There is a little gap in the corner, but that is totally fine. Okay, so for this next one, I'm using 6 of these wooden trays from Dollar Tree. I'm not gonna lie, guys, this was my favorite one for today. You let me know which one your favorite is for today, because this one just came out way, way better than what I thought it was. So I'm just gonna remove the stickers first. After I sanded them down, now I'm gonna set them down right here on the table the way I want them to look, but of course it's gonna be standing up. So right here I was just trying to figure out exactly about how far apart I wanted them, and I do end up spreading them out about 4 inches from each other. So the first thing I am going to do is glue the two of them together just like this. So I just go around that little cutout star and add my hot glue and glue them together. So I got the inspiration for this from Pinterest. I seen actually a huge like crate looking wall decor for like outdoors, and it just gave me the inspiration to make something smaller, of course, but it just obviously does not look the same, but the inspiration is there and it came out so pretty. So I hope y'all are able to make this. Now the good thing is you can use hot glue for this whole thing, because what I add inside is a few flowers and a little bit of Spanish moss, and it has no weight to it whatsoever. So hot glue is perfect for this. Now I'm going to paint all three of them black, and I'm also going to paint the top edges as well. I'm not going to worry about the inside because we're going to add the flowers. Oh, and I'm also not going to worry about these sides because I'm going to cover that up with something. So now what we're gonna do is take the adhesive wall tiles from Dollar Tree. I used this in my last video for the wishing well that a lot of you guys absolutely love. Thank you so much for the sweet comments. I had so many comments on that wishing well. So I'm gonna take this and we are going to figure out about how big I need to cut them to fit the sides, and then I will hot glue them on. It does have that adhesive, but I'll show you right now, it doesn't really stick on, so it's just better to hot glue it. So once I have one of those cut out, I will cut the remaining 5, so I have a total of 6 for each side of those trays. Now I'm going to remove the clear part on the back of the little tiles. That's just where the sticky part is located. So you see that white piece right there? I need to remove that too because it's not even completely on there because I cut it up. So I'm going to just take that off and then I'll hot glue all of them. So I found more of these really long bamboo skewers from Dollar Tree. So this is going to be perfect for this. So I'm going to use some of these on here to connect the trays together. So I marked my paper at the bottom. So all of them are about 4 inches apart. Now I can place my skewer on the side and mark that. And I'm going to cut them to that length. So I'll use this one as a template to cut the rest. So I ended up only needing 4. I wasn't too sure where I was going to add these skewers at yet, and once I figured that out, I had painted 6, but I'll use the other 2 for something else, and I think I used one for the next DIY. So now I am going to hot glue the first skewer down in the center to cover up the separation between the 2 trays, and I'm going to start off with the bottom tray. So now I'm going to hot glue the skewer to the top tray. That's the last one I need to do. And then I can turn it around and do the same thing to the back. So as you can see throughout the clips, I am using my L square, which is that Dollar Tree ruler, just to make sure it is about 4 inches apart. So that way when I do stand it up, it is pretty straight. And last but not least, to assemble the trays together, I'm gonna go ahead and lay it back down and add the 2 skewers on each side where the tiles are at. So this is just for a better hold of the whole little decor piece. All right, and now for the fun part. We're going to add Spanish moss to each of the 6 trays, and it is from Dollar Tree. I've been having it in my craft closet for a really long time. They always have it though when I go by Dollar Tree. So I'm just gonna take some out of there. The only thing I hate is it always makes a lot of mess. But if you want, you could also add the green moss as well. They have different types all the time, so whatever you like, you can add that. And then I'm gonna add my Dollar Tree flowers in there. So these little pretty pink peachy flowers are from Dollar Tree. I don't know the name of them, but they look like tulips to me. So what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna cut out some vinyl words and I'm gonna add tulips to the front of this on one side. And then in the center, I'm gonna add some Dollar Tree lavender, and I'll also add that word. And then for the bottom tier, I'm gonna add some Dollar Tree magnolia flowers. Oh my goodness, it is just so cute. I really, really like the way it looks. So this is whenever I was like, okay, it would look so, so cute if I added the vinyl words. So I will have the link to the design space for the font that I used. I don't remember the name, but it will be linked below. So there are many, many ideas of what you can add into these little trays. So if you were to add flowers, what kind of flowers would you put? Or if you were to add greenery, you could do that too. I was thinking about that, but I decided to just add flowers. I think this is perfect for summer and spring. So let me know your ideas, and you could even paint it a different color if you want. It's just, the options are always endless for my DIYs. For the last DIY for today, I am going to use this Dollar Tree birdhouse. And the first thing I'm going to do is paint the house part of it white, and then the roof and bottom base, I will paint it with my hazelnut chalk paint. So the inspiration for this last one also came from Kirkland's, except I did kind of change it up by using the birdhouse because that was just what I had on hand. They do have little lanterns at Dollar Tree that I have seen before, but of course when I tried looking for it again for this DIY, I could not find one. So if you have that one, or you have one from a different store, you could totally use this and it will come out cute as well. So I decided to use the birdhouse, like I said, because I had it and I got my paint colors mixed up. So what I did right here was add the white paint first, kind of like a primer, and then I'm gonna paint it with my hazelnut chalk paint, and then the top part of the roof and the base will be black. So for the bottom piece to this DIY that I'm doing, I'm going to use this container. It's wooden and it is from Dollar Tree. As you can see, I have used it before. I actually used this during Christmas time. I can't believe I still have it. So that's good. I like to recycle stuff. So what I'm going to do is just use that part that is red, not the lid, just the bottom part. But I turned it around so I can paint this whole side with my black paint. I already drilled a hole in this during Christmas time, so this was like in November, December. So it already has a hole, so that's perfect because I'm gonna add a dowel in there. I just realized, because I was gonna use something else, but I realized when I went to go check my drills, my husband has like 2 or 3 of them, and for some reason they just do not want to charge. So I do need to go and buy another one because I did need the drill to drill a hole at the bottom of the birdhouse. And I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Because I already had this planned out. Guys, sometimes to brainstorm for DIYs, it'll take me a couple days, you know? So when I find something I want to make and it doesn't work out because of a, you know, a little thing like the drill not charging for some reason, I'm like, no, I don't know what to do. So I figured something out in case you don't have a drill for the birdhouse. I'm actually using one of those dowels that I used for the previous DIY, and I am going to cut it down too. So at the bottom of this, you can see that I did add hot glue, and it did stay in place pretty well, but to keep it more secure, I'm adding more hot glue under there, and I'm going to put a piece of fluorofoam. So to add the birdhouse at the top, since I didn't have the drill, like I said, if you do, you can just drill a hole at the bottom and just stick the dowel in underneath there. So since I didn't have that, what I did was grab some tumbling tower blocks, and this is just gonna help it stay glued onto the dowel at the top. So I'm just gonna hot glue those on, and then I will glue the birdhouse to the dowel. And for a little bit more of security, I'm just gonna take a piece of burlap. I'm gonna add hot glue and put this on the back just for more of the glue to be on the back and not just the front of one side of the dowel. And at last, I made a small wreath from some greenery that I had on hand, and I'm just gonna add it to the birdhouse right here. Once again, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for staying till the end. If you did, I appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed all these DIYs today. Make sure you are subscribed if you want to see more DIY ideas for summer and spring, and of course, seasons to come.